Hello guys, Radiant Coach MG here, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to play Omen so you can have more control in your ranked games. And the map I'm going to be doing Omen on today is Ascent. First off, I'm just going to be showing you the default smokes for B and explain why they're there. So the first smoke is this market smoke here, and it is a good smoke because it just means they can't hold main from anywhere in market, basically. So if this is smoked off, you can easily entry a lot faster, and you won't be dying from here. And the second default smoke would just be CT. As obviously CT is just an easy place anyone could up if it's not smoked off. So like these are the two default smokes would be, to be honest, that I would always be using. I wouldn't smoke anywhere else. And also, a mistake I see a lot of people do with their smokes is they don't put them deep enough. So if you do a CT smoke like this or a market smoke like this actually gives your opponents like way more space. Like so much more space. Like see how much of sight they can just take with this smoke, and then they can just peek out of this without even being able to be seen from market if you take market. But you always want to be like smoking around like where these lines are. That's another thing. You want to be smoking like kind of right on the edge. A little bit hanging out is fun, but like roughly your smokes always want to be deep. No, not too shallow or too far out. Now I'll do the default smokes for attacking on A. So again, you don't want to be putting your smoke too shallow or too far out onto side. You want to be putting it back so you can take as much space as possible. This first one is this tree smoke, and this is a really important smoke because it allows you to actually clear this door without being able to be seen from anywhere in tree or in garden. So it's a very important smoke. So you always want to be smoking off tree. If your tree's not being smoked off, then your smoker isn't doing their job properly. And if you're the smoker, that means you're not doing your job properly, which means you're not going to be ranking up as fast if you're blank smokes. And this smoke, I always see people do wrong. So I always see people smoke it like this a lot of the time, especially in lower rank. And this smoke is terrible because this gives the opponent so much space to the point where if they can literally dart, like if you have a dart for retake and you dart here, you can literally kill them for free through their own smoke and they can't see you or trade. And I always see people like, especially brimstones, I don't know why, but I always see brimstones smoke heaven like this as well. And this is awful because this straight away just means someone can just be here the whole time and not even get cleared. So you might not even have a clear sight, for example. And it's even harder to clear hell. Like they could just be playing in your smoke with like a shotgun or something. Like you don't know. So what you do want to be smoking is you see this, you want to be having the furthest edge of your smoke in line with that wall there. So like this. You can use this box here for reference in your Omen smoke, but you want to be smoking it off like this. Or even further back. This is even a little bit further out, but this would be the default smoke for heaven because it means you can have all this space here. You can clear this left side of hell a lot easier, not left, right, sorry. And by the time it's disappeared, you can take hell properly. And you can even jump up and push heaven as well if you want, and you can have a smoke there. You can have your Sova dart here or somewhere. It'll be easier to get free kills heaven, so it'll just it's way easier because you can just take way more space if you smoke deeper rather than too far out. But yeah, it's way easier if you can just smoke deeper than smoking too far out and just giving your like enemies way too much space. And especially for this heaven smoke, this is a very bad mistake all the time. Like if I'm Sova and I'm getting my duelist or whoever to push through into that smoke and I'm just darting there or I'm darting for there and they'll just get free kills through their own smokes because they can't get traded. So always smoke far back because you can even take heaven, like especially on Omen as well, you can literally smoke this and then just TP up here and just even get a free kill with your TP because they can't see you from anywhere with this smoke and you can take all of this space. So the moment they push out of your smoke, you can get a free kill and maybe just TP back down straight away and then that's just free. Like it literally stops their retake. So for mid smokes, I would always recommend if you're taking trees, smoking off bottom mid, because this is a very common angle where jets like to op or chambers like to be playing with an op. So if you're smoking that, they can't see you from top mid. And always be careful of people running up B main and pushing you from tiles, because that is very common and I see a lot of people always dying to that push. And obviously you're not going to be shifting this slow, but by the time this smoke goes away, which is 14.5 seconds roughly, I think, you can literally be here already, or your duelist can be there off that smoke already. And also, if you're pushing it, I recommend not all pushing from cat. I recommend some people playing here, some people playing here, because If someone is tree and they swing you, firstly they're gonna have to fight this before they can swing cat, and they're gonna have to clear all of this. But even if they just ignore all of you and they swing cat, like they are just dead. Like it's gonna be way harder. And if you're pushing tree, you can smoke here just to worry about these angles. You take tree control. Obviously, you can break the store. And a reason why Omen is so good on this map is because you can take mid and your smokes come back. So by the time you're here, you will have another smoke back which you can use for heaven, and then you can take site. So yeah, that is what I would do from a tree to a push. Right, so smoking for a market push, you would always smoke this off. You don't always necessarily need to smoke it off because if you have an op or an outlaw, they can easily just hold this angle. And from here, I would honestly just smoke this off because this means you don't have to worry about getting swung from their spawn. You can just worry about actually taking market. So obviously clear these two things here and then clear on top of this table here. And then just have your crosshair placed for these boxes and be ready to fight anywhere. By the time you're up here, or your duelist is up here, like you will have another smoke back and you could just use it to take CT. But when you're doing this, I always implore you to check these two angles here. And they could also be main as well. So be careful of that. But that's how I would take market if I want to go from market to B. Now, another big part of Omen's kit is his Paranoia, which is his flash ability. And this can be used to just take a lot of early space straight away. So let's say you're pushing B. If you have a flash here, you can just, like your jet or whoever can just take B main. And this will instantly just flash anyone trying to beat this. So there's easy space to take with an Omen flash at the start of the game. And it means your initiators don't have to waste like a drone or any bit of utility on this when they can save it all for sight. So this is a very strong flash. Another flash which is super strong is if you can take mid, your jet can walk up, you can flash market for him like this. Obviously, you would have this smoked as well, so the jet can really utilize his flash properly. And no one can timing a swing outside of CT here for this dash to work. But you can flash all the market with Omen as well. Another flash which is super strong is a flash actually for like cubby and tree. So you could flash like this to cover this corner, or you could flash like this. Or you could flash a little bit deeper actually if you have like a drone or something. So like you can either flash like this so they can take cubby. Flash like this, they can not worry about anyone on the box or close left when they're pushing. Or you can flash just like this. So this would all be cleared and your jet can really walk up here and take the space. And if they're pushing from tree, don't smoke tree. You can smoke here and you can just simply smoke here for them. And it's that simple. And while I'm here, I'll go to the A flashes as well. So you can easily just flash Jenny for your jet to walk out or dash out on. Or if you want, you can flash these boxes. But I always recommend flashing Jenny because your jet can easily just take this space without having to worry about anywhere on site. And they can have everything else cleared. So I recommend just these flash. This flash if they're just not playing here ever. So you can flash behind dice. Or you can kind of flash like this. So it flashes dice and right and this box here. So yeah, those are the all the flashes you'll need on attack. So for defense, the smokes are quite straightforward. So usually you're just going to be smoking just the choke points. Again, smoke deep and don't smoke far out onto site because then this will just give them more space. And if I go all the way to B now, the same smoke will apply. And these are just default smokes. You can do other smokes and take a little bit more space if you want to fight. But usually if you're just playing on site, these are the two smokes you want. And the best part about Omen on this map as well is you can kind of, the range of where you can smoke from is really strong. So if you're playing B, you can still smoke A for your team and vice versa. Because on Brim, you're usually refined to just playing here, so you can smoke both sites. And on Astra, you can smoke from anywhere, but again, she doesn't have as many smokes to use as Omen, because Omen's constantly getting his smokes regenerated throughout the rounds. So with your Paranoia, like if you want to get creative or you want to fight, you can kind of flash this and your duelist can go and fight it. I'd recommend a jet to dash off this flash for A, and you can do the same thing with B as well, like just like so. And you can flash all of this. And even from market, you can actually flash tiles, believe it or not. And your jet can go and fight that. But usually with this, I would do this smoke here for tile mid so he can't get swung while he's dashing to fight this off your flash. And you can easily just hold your smoke for him as well as he's taking the space. And this will lead me on to the mid smokes. So you can smoke here for tiles, off tiles for top mid, and then you can smoke here for tiles. And it just kind of depends wherever you want to hold from. You can play tree as well off this smoke here for top mid. But yeah, these smokes kind of allow you to take the mid space or at least contest it for a while, delay the time for the round for them to plant, and it'll give you more time to So yeah, if you want to smoke, just smoke here for tiles and here for top mid. So for A main, another way, if you don't want to waste your flash, you can just one way this, just like so, and this will allow you to kind of take A main control quite easily at the start of a round. You can go play here, which is a nice little off angle. You could kind of get your way into here, which is really good, into wine. And another way to know if your one way is going to land up top or not, because I see loads of omens try and one way and their smoke will drop. Is you see that little green arrow? This works on both views. This will tell you where your smoke is going to land. So if the green arrow is on top of this, you know your smoke is going to land here. Similarly for, oh no, I think this one way's been taken out of the game, but you see like this green arrow here. This means this smoke will land on here. And I know there was a one way you could do for here, but I'm pretty sure it got nerfed. But actually, no, it hasn't. You can still do it and TP up here on attack if you want. But yeah, use that green arrow to help you kind of line up your one ways so you can take that space a lot easier. So your smokes aren't just dropping onto the floor. Another one way you could do is I recommend going into the other smoke view for this. It's kind of just one way on top of this, and this kind of allows you to fight for B main control quite easily, as you can see them and they literally can't see you with the smoke. Yeah, you can also one way B main, and yet again you can use the green arrow to help you line up your one way, so you're not just dropping it onto the floor. Here is a good retake smoke for A as well. So if you smoke under here, this smoke actually lets you fight a lot of stuff and isolate a lot. So you can jump down here without having to worry about anyone from Jenny or Hell and maybe fight Tree or fight here. Or you could do the opposite and you could actually go and fight Jenny without having to worry about people from Hell. You can just take this Jenny space quite early. But the smoke is very good. You can get very creative with this retake smoke here. And I suggest not always using it, but using it like sometimes throughout the rounds because your enemies aren't going to be expecting it. So this concludes all of the main default set plays for Omen. Other than that, retake smoke, which is the first example of the next step I'm about to give you, which is be creative. Omen has a lot of like kit to be creative with, like with his smokes, because they constantly regen. You have to be creative with them throughout the round. So let's say you're on B, for example, and you want to retake or you want to hold the site. Like smoking this, for example, allows your teammates to get off the site a lot easier, or it allows you to get onto site a lot easier and mainly focus on these angles rather than focusing on anyone holding CT from site itself. Or even if you're on site, you could smoke off lane to hold the site, you could smoke off stairs. You could even like one way this, I'm pretty sure, and give yourself a really big advantage as they're pushing out. With his TPs as well, you can get really creative with them. You can TP on top of here and hold an off angle, or even on top of here, although I don't really recommend here because you're quite exposed. This one's a lot better because you got this box covering your stairs a little bit better. You can maybe do an off angle. There's loads on A you can go from. I'll show you one now. Obviously, this one which I used earlier on in the video, you can use this one. You can use this here. You can go on this box if you want. You could even go on top of here and hold like an off angle. But with these kind of angles, that are kind of more one and done angles, I always recommend having another teammate on site and ask them to break any utility like a Sova drone, dart, or whatnot, so you could kind of stay hidden here. But yeah, just get creative with Omen. You don't even need to use his flashes all the time in default ways. Like, let's say you've been smoked off here and you want to play tree, for example. You can even just like, you hear them approaching the switch, you could even just flash this and go and fight and maybe get 1 or 2 kills. And that's a 2-for-1, which is a big advantage for your team going into the retake. So yeah, that's my advice with Omen. Just get really creative on him. Don't be scared to try anything new. Yeah, don't just stick to the whole default stuff because at the end of the day, most of the time you are playing this agent, you are probably filling for your team because you've either had an insta locker or you have someone that says they don't know how to play smoke so they can avoid playing it. So the more creative you can get, the more kills and more self worth you can get, and it'll be easier for you to carry games if you're throwing your enemies off guard all the time with your plays, and you can be in more control of your ranked games, and you can take more control of space with your smokes. So yeah, so this concludes the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you found this tutorial guide video useful, be sure to like and subscribe. And there'll be way more Omen guides coming soon. I've got a Lotus one in the works. Obviously, I'm going to be doing Split, Sunset, and any other map which he's meta on as well. So be sure to stay posted for that. And peace.